Ahoy there, YouTube. Got Stomper in the garage still. She's still sitting right where she was as of last week. If you guys watched my last video, you've seen that we finally got her running pretty good. She's starting pretty good. She's idling pretty good. Doing a lot better than she was doing previously, that is for sure. I just with the valve lash and fixed a ton of other little loose belts and pulleys and other sorts of things. Got the timing set, all that sort of fun stuff. But for now, we're going to go ahead and work on le brakes. But first, let's do a cold start. This is actually the second or third time I've actually done a cold start on it. So we'll see how she's starting right now. It's about 40 in the garage, so it ain't terribly cold, but it ain't terribly warm either, so. Fuel pump kicking in. Give her a couple of pumps. Yeah! Oh, she stalled. It started off great. There we go. Second attempt was a charm. Woohoo! So if any of you guys have watched the rescue video when we attempted to drive her back home, you'd have noticed that we had nothing for brakes. And we had no brake parts either, even though we were told it came with a bunch of brake parts. I mean, and it did. It came with, like, some pads and some bolts and, like, brake shims and drum adjuster screws and stuff like that, but nothing else. So that's a little bit of our fault for not actually planning and looking ahead and seeing what it actually truly had versus just showing up and hoping we could drive it home. But, you know, life lessons learned the hard way. You'd think by now I would know what I'm doing, but I don't, so, oh well. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and do brakes on this old girl today. We're going to do the brake MR2 conversion on it. I do have a how-to video on how to install this. This isn't really going to be that. This is going to be more for entertainment. I don't really know how you can be entertaining doing brakes, but we're going to try it. Alright, well, instead of boring you guys to death with a bunch of brakes, I figured I would go ahead and knock this part out off camera. We got MR2 calipers up front over here. 92 Tercel rotors, and if you guys are interested in how to do this swap, I do got a video on how to do this swap over here along with the spacer information and stuff like that. So believe it or not, these are actually basically brand new brakes. Yeah, somebody did them, they just didn't run lines to them, so I ran lines to them. I wouldn't say pretty, but it's ran good enough for what this is. I mean, you can see all the crust underneath there. She's looking rough. But anyway, I also throw a little bit of trim over there, the missing trim piece. Went ahead and got the grill black again. I think the black looks a little bit nicer than the blue with blue, my personal opinion. So Alex will be here soon. We'll get these brakes bled, and then we'll go from there on what's going to be next. So as I was saying, we're stepping down from these monstrous 15s. These really aren't that huge of a tire, but they're a little bit too much for this car on the highway. This thing having 373 gears doesn't really like them at the highway speed. So we're going to swap down from these over to a set of these good old-fashioned stock boys over here. These are just a 175 7013, but the tires are in treads in really good shape. They've all held air for the last couple months they've been sitting over here, on top of who knows how long they've been sitting prior to that. So I think these are going to be decent enough for right now. So I'm going to go ahead and throw those on, and we'll take it for a rip. All right, well, as you can hear, the fan kicked on. We got a working hood latch again, so I'm going to have to swap this hood out at some point. Made the grill black. Alex actually probably doesn't know about that yet, but the grill is officially black again. It's a little wet because I touched up the paint in a few spots when I got home. But it looked a little bit nicer than the blue, my personal opinion. So, we're going to go for her inaugural rip. I hope I don't stall it out because the battery's no good in this thing, but we got a decent alternator voltage right now. And, I guess I'll have to push it and Alex will have to clutch dump if we do stall it out. Can you fit in this car, Alex?
Yep, barely.
You can?
Yeah, I got my foot in.
Alright. Oh, this is actually another thing I gotta take care of as well. The seatbelt is frayed. I don't know if that happened when you owned it or after you owned it, but...
It's been like that the entire time.
Has it? Well, it's locking up a little bit, so I'm gonna swap that out.
I also nearly did it to the Prius.
Yeah, the four-wheel drive light doesn't work at all, so I'm gonna put another bulb in. I actually ordered bulbs. They're gonna be here today. I got green bulbs for this and green bulbs for this. So I'm gonna put green LEDs there, and then a green LED there, which that's actually already green. I didn't know that, but oh well. All right, moment of truth. Do we have breakage? This seems a little bit far forward, far back for short people like me. Here's a moment of truth right now. Oh yeah, it feels normal. Oh, I don't have to do the master cylinder. That is amazing news. I actually thought I was gonna have to do the master cylinder, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, first brake. Yeah, she feels really good actually. All right.
right, here we go.
Well, we're doing 60 miles an hour, and she's smooth as could be. RPMs are a little high, but it is a 373, so we got to get used to that. This can come down. It doesn't smell like new car anymore. It doesn't smell like anything. Dude, this is... She's a runner, man. I'm going to do the oil change on it next, fix the radio, get the factory harness put back in there, and the next thing it's going to be heat. So maybe the next video we'll do heat. I don't know how well it's going to work out because I'm not going to lie, I'm not confident I'm going to be able to get it again. But she's a ripper right now. We'll see if we can do a front-wheel drive burnout. What do you say?
Okay. Just don't stall it. I'm not pushing you back home.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. The battery's not holding a charge.
We should try the burnout closer to home.
Yeah. Yeah, we are like quite a few miles from home. So let's try the burnout closer to home. Or on the top of a hill. But then if it doesn't start still, then we're ultra screwed. And I'm not really great at clutch starting a vehicle, so... Oh yeah, that brake feels really good. Sorry.
Whiplash.
It's grinding now that I hit the brakes really hard. You hear that?
Yeah.
That's great.
It's just the rear. It's okay.
Yeah, that doesn't do anything to stopping. Move, Mr. Truck Guy. I gotta turn around.
Turn really tightly.
Look at these people real quick. Oh, there's so many people. Why is there so many people out at 142?
That's the wrong way.
Ah, that's a blurry picture, but oh well.
This window's blurry. There we go. Now we can focus. How are there so many cars out here? We're in the middle of nowhere. And the horn works.
Dude, I'm so freaking happy right now. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to get everything else dialed in on this car now. Oh my goodness. What a trooper. She might need an alignment. It's pulling a little bit to the left.
No, that's only just testing your abilities to hold it straight.
Nah, yeah. Can't drink and drive with this car because I would for sure crash.
But you don't drink anyway, except for Mountain Dew.
Well, that's what I meant, you know. You know, a couple too many Mountain Dews, I might get hyper and not be able to focus. Which is a legitimate thing. Like days that I've had like 3 monsters, I'm like, and I don't pay attention to the road. Or if I'm like really excited because we're on a car rescue thing, as you probably noticed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You've almost killed me. You asshole.
Nah, it's okay. It'll grow back.
It's only a car with no airbags. We'll only die a lot.
I've been impaled.
I've been impaled. They're officially back for her inaugural rip. Alex got us a brand new sticker. Toyotas never die. And I think this is living proof of that because we're not letting this car die. She's going to live on. She's going to live on. All right. Well, now that we got her home, we got her running pretty good. Next up we're going to do is a few aesthetic things to it. So I already threw that trim piece on over here, like I said, and a couple little odds and ends. I don't remember what all I said, so I'm actually not going to go ahead and repeat myself. But we do got a wheel restoration night going on over here, and that's for a later video. But yeah, got a set of aluminum wheels. These came off that Upper Peninsula car I got November, I believe, or October. I think it was October, because I think it was like around Halloween when I went up there. Dusting those up, getting them all self-etching primed right now. Gonna get these painted soon. But one of the things I really wanted to do that I mentioned, I think in the video earlier or last video, I don't remember which one I mentioned it in, is fix 2 things. One, we got, I believe, a bulb out the bottom right there. That's yellow, that's green, and these are like white green. And then we go put her on. We got nothing for 4-wheel drive. So we're going to take care of that and make them all one color. Plus, this is really scratched. I'm going to bump this up. So let's go ahead, take all this stuff off. I'll show you guys how to change these bulbs out. All right, so pulling these out is actually fairly simple. There is a fillet base screw right under the side over here. We'll pull that one out. Right there. Got another screw right over there. Also right there. And now a screw up top here. It's loose, but just not want to. Oh, there we go. It's down there. Next one, right over there. Doesn't want to come out as well. All right, you are going to see 3 little screws up here. I don't know how well my light is going to pick up, but you don't have to remove those. Now that's going to get this loose. There's going to be a couple connectors on the side, one for the defrost and cruise if you have it. And in order to pop these out, you want to squeeze on this little tab right here and just kind of pry back. And that should knock these out. Same with this one up here, even though you can't really see it. You can try to squeeze the defrost one up from the backside, but I typically just kind of pull back on it and just lightly pop it out that way, and it usually comes through. Then it's going to be the same for this. We'll squeeze that little tab down. There we go, that's now out. Then we got another one right over on this side over here. Actually, there's 2 more, I think. Yep, there's 2 more over here. One for the rear wiper switch if you have it, and then one for this whole side of warning lights over there. So we'll go pop these off. All right, and this one's gonna be the same right here. You got a tab right there. And then this one for right here, you wanna pop this tab actually slightly out. Sorry for the focus issue, guys. Pull this tab slightly out right here, and then pull up on it. There we go. Now that one's out. And that gets our surround out of the way, so we'll set that off to the side. And now we got a couple more screws to pull the cluster out. We got up here. Again, these are the same as these screws, so they can all go in our little pile. This upper left one. Oh, nope, get back in the pile.
My bad. Everyone back in the pile.
Back in the pile, everyone. We're going back to the pile.
Jump in!
Come on, everybody.
We're going back to the pile.
Yeah, come on.
We got one in the lower right corner right here. One in the lower corner over here. So there's 8 screws total to reach this cluster. Now you do want to be kind of careful when you're removing these because these little tabs down here for the clock and the trip reset will break. But you want to kind of pop this out over top of here or underneath here. There's going to be a couple of harnesses on the back and then the speedometer cable, which in my personal experience is usually one of the harder things to get off if it's never been removed. But I'll kind of show you some tricks. So in the top right above the speedometer right here, we have another one of these little tab styles. You kind of want to fish your fingers in there, push that tab down and pry on out. There is another harness right there. So now as for the actual speedometer cable itself, it's dead center of the speedometer gear, or the speedometer I should say, on the actual gauge cluster. And it's kind of hard to actually get these out, but okay, so for pulling the speedometer gear out, it's not necessarily easy. But you want to do is you want to squeeze on the back of this tab right here, and that'll kind of release the outer piece. And then on this side over there is going to be the same thing. This little tab is going to kind of want to grab onto the end of it. I typically find that just prying on the back of this is typically enough to get it to pop out, but it's not an easy thing. Just make sure you're really careful because this is plastic and that is pretty fragile. So now back underneath here, we got the one big harness out, and then the speedometer cable. So all we have left is this right here, which is going to come out the same way as the other ones. We'll push on this tab up top, and then out she comes. Now we have a free gauge cluster to go get polished up and then get some LEDs in. Let's go do that. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get this thing cleaned up now. What I'm gonna do for starters is I'm gonna go ahead and just spray it down with some glass cleaner, kind of wipe it down with a microfiber, get everything relatively off that's gonna be on there. Well, this is definitely not gonna get it very clean, but it's gonna be cleaner than it was, that's for sure. I'm no detailer. I'm pretty Tom when it comes to this stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and do the best that I can. So stay put, and I'll show you some results. So you can see this is just completely scratched up, like light's reflecting on it terribly. It looks completely terrible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a drill brush and a pad, So this is like a medium pad. Obviously, this has been used before. I've used it on this a few other gauge clusters in the past. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in my drill. I'm going to take this stuff. This is like a swirl and defect remover. You could probably get like a 2-in-1 or an ultrafine compound or a polishing compound or anything at like any parts store, and it would probably work just as good. But this is what I have on hand. So I'm going to take this, dump a few dots on the pad. Well, I'm going to attempt to dump a few dots on the pad. This is probably way more than I need, but I'm no professional, as I said earlier. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to tap it on here in a few spots, get it kind of wet, make sure that it's not going to be dry anywhere, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of lightly spin it up. I'm going to go in multiple directions. This is clearly not centered on my drill at all, so that's great. That's much better. Wow, that was really bad. All right, now we're going to go ahead and make a couple passes again. Now that we can kind of control it. We're going to go left to right. Now we're going to go ahead and go up and down, kind of overlapping it. This is a little bit hard to control, but we're going to kind of do the best that we can. All right. That's our first pass done. Go ahead and kind of wipe this down. And I don't know about you guys, but I mean, that's already looking a lot clearer. You can see how it's actually focusing on the back of the gauge cluster once again. So I'm going to make another pass with this. There's a bunch of little crap down here. And then we'll go ahead and go to the final step. Once again, go ahead and add a bit to the pad. Probably a little bit too much, but that's all right. Ooh, that came out a little heavier. We'll go ahead and tap it on here. Get this kind of spread out really nice. To the left, right. Now I'll try to go up and down. So I'm throwing extra crap everywhere because I'm doing this wrong. Once again, polish it off with a microfiber. And look at that already. In just the first two passes, this thing is looking so much nicer. So much better. All right. Now, there's probably going to be a handful of smaller scratches in here, so I'm going to go ahead and switch out to this smaller black pad. And I'm going to use a little bit finer of a compound. Now I'll do the same thing. I'm going to make another pass on it over it again. Boy, it's flinging everywhere. I did way too much. Okay, now that it's all over the place and probably on my phone screen for life, I'm going to go ahead and give it one more little wipe down with a microfiber. I don't know about you guys, but that sure looks so much nicer. It's definitely not perfect. I probably could take some more time and clean all the little nitty-gritties out of here, but I mean, no offense, but this car's not really a shining example, so it's not really worth really going crazy with this thing, but I'm excited. Okay. Gosh, that's looking so much nicer. I mean, I still got some smudgy fingerprints on it now that I've been handling it, but oh my goodness, it looks amazing. And again, I'm no professional detailer, so I'm sure you could get better different products and different pads and other scientific stuff that I don't know anything about and make this look a lot nicer, but I'm happy. So over here, we got 3 twist locks that are going to be holding in all the gauge cluster bulbs. There's going to be several others. I would recommend not touching those. That's going to be for the low fuel over there. I wouldn't touch that unless your bulb isn't working. I probably wouldn't recommend putting an LED in there, too, the way that the resistance works from the fuel sending unit. But Anyway, let's pop this out from here. It's going to be the green ones are the ones you're going to want to change the cluster bulbs on. So I bought these. These are just a 194 bulb I bought off eBay. Obviously, there's some cheap Chinese ones. They are green, and that's what the factory color is on this. I have white in some of the other cars, and I've done, you know, yellow, and I don't know. I'm just going to go with green because that's what's normally in this, and it feels cool to do it. So let's get this popped out of here. This isn't chips, Luke. Don't eat these. I mean, I guess they technically are chips, but they're not the chips that I can eat. So let's pop this out. So I do one-handed. Boop. These might be not dual polarity, which means they might only work on one side. So this might be a bit of an experiment where we're going to have to flip it around. So we're going to test before we put everything together. And I'll show that with you guys together. Boy, this is not going in one-handed very well. I should get my tripod out and not be lazy. Yeah. All right, there's one down. Push that back in there, twist it in place. The center one. This LED is clearly dead or in backwards. Again, we'll take it out. Don't eat a bag of potato chips, even though you're fat and want some. Okay, now we'll take that, pop that back in the center. Now, very last one is over here. But number 3 in place. So, now the moment of truth. Did it work? We'll go ahead and connect these two connectors up in the center, and then I'll report back. Two hooked up right now. Moment of truth. Looks like that center one is still out, but these two are working pretty good. Let's go ahead and flip that center one around. These cables being a little bit long, because I can actually access this from the back side. Well, I'm going to start by just turning the twist lock first and seeing if that fixes it. Yep, there we go. We're in business. We got green lights. Those look really nice, and they're really bright. So let's go ahead and put the speedometer cable back in, and then we'll go plug all this stuff in, and we'll move forward to this stuff. Moment of truth. Let's see how this looks. Oh, the light's a little bit bright, but this looks so much nicer. Move on to the inclinometer. So for this, there's just 2 screws on the side. One over there and one over there. We'll go ahead and pop these on out of here. There is mouse poop on this dashboard. We're going to have to clean that off. It's kind of gross. One more screw over here. Let's go ahead and pull this clinometer cover off. There's going to be a couple of tabs that kind of hold it to the side. There we go. Hi, Stomper. Okay. Now we need the 4-wheel drive light to come out. Let's twist that on out of here. Here's the old bulb. Probably seen better days. Boop. Ye old 194s again. Key on. Roll drive. Not working. Okay. Put over. It's not working at all. What's going on? Is it this bulb?
1 hour later.
Yeah, I'm on bulb 3 now, and it's still not working, so something's gone wrong. We'll figure it out a little later, though. We'll go ahead and get this one out for now. Good old incandescent bulb, and it's hot. Wow. Okay. We'll try this bulb we tried before. This will be a good verification if that bulb was actually bad. Woo, that's bright. All right. Ha ha ha. So we're gonna have to dig into the 4-wheel drive light as to why that's not working, but we can figure that out in time. It's kind of a bummer, I won't lie, but it's gotta be something stupid. So we're pulling this HVAC panel out. I think you are going to want to pull this radio bezel out because there's going to be a screw buried underneath this right here. There's a screw for the ashtray right there, and then 2 screws over there. We'll start pulling these out. And then sometimes, in my experience, but not every time, there's actually a bolt buried way in the back over there. You can see that one way over there. It looks like it was there, but there's not a screw there. All right, so forgive me, I accidentally paused the video and realized it, but I went ahead and got all these little tabs out. These little covers for the HVAC panel, these just pull straight out. I got them all popped off. There's going to be some tabs over here and some tabs over here. And I want to try to go ahead and pry ever so slightly and gently. You don't want to break this. It's fairly fragile. I got those 2 popped out-ish. So I'll hop over here. I'm going to do the same thing. I did loosen the screws up on the top to give this a little bit of flex. Which might be wise, might be unwise. I'm not sure just yet. I haven't changed one of these in a few years, but I don't remember pulling them off, but I did anyway. There we go. Went a little bit more aggressive than I wanted to, but we're getting her out. There we go. And you can see underneath there the little bulb. So we're going to go ahead and pop this tab out of here. There we go. Pop that piece out. Zip that to the side. And then we're going to grab this bulb, which is probably going to be way too hot. That's a little warm. Yeah, that's a little warm. Okay, now the bulbs we're going to use over here, again, cheap Chinese bulbs, but these are a T5, 37, 74, or 27. This should also be green. If they're not green, I'm going to be really sad, but I ordered green. All right, here's a little guy right there. We're going to go ahead and go, boop. See if I can't get it in. Plug it in, plug it in. Aha! And let there be light. Wow, it's really freaking bright. Oh my gosh. We'll cover this little thing up to evenly display the light. Pop that tab back in. Slide this cover back in there. Slide this cover back in there. And voila. I'm going to go ahead and pop all this back together now. And that's it. And we are done. We got LEDs all... Whoa, I just changed the coloring. We got LEDs all over the place. This one is a little bit bright in the front. The video makes it look a little bit worse than it actually is. But I think if I could go back in time, I'd probably order a bulb that has maybe not necessarily a direct diode pointing forward. And maybe a little bit more of a dome or curved end, but it's not a huge deal. It's still a lot better than what it was. So now we got to get this working, the 4-wheel drive situation. All right. Well, doing a little bit of research, I think it probably is going to be the sensor that runs to the trans. I'm going to test that a little later. I don't really feel like monkeying with a bunch of stuff tonight. It's getting late, getting dark, sunset, and it's getting chilly out because winter just will not end in Michigan once again. So, I'm pretty happy with everything we got done. We got the gauge cluster buff, we got LED lights on, we got brakes front and rear, which obviously I didn't bore you guys with videos on, but hey, whatever. We got the grill all painted up looking nice, we got some missing trim done. Back over here, I don't have it on yet, but we got the license plate frame all dialed up a little bit. Gave her a quick coat of paint. Got some potential future wheels for her, all looking shiny and looking nice. Got to give them a coat of paint yet, but for a quick blast and primer, these things are looking so nice. So, I guess I'm gonna go clean up my garage. I mean, I'm not. I got a pressure wash in here. It's a disgusting disgrace. If you guys want to watch videos of that stuff, let me know. I'm always curious if you guys want to see videos of me doing random, not really necessarily Tercel, Volvo, kart-related stuff. I don't know. If that interests you, let me know. I'll maybe do one. But, oh man. So I think for the next video, what we're probably going to end up doing is doing a full fluid flush, diff, trans, change the oil, check the coolant, probably change the coolant, add some washer fluid. We are going to eventually have to do a head gasket on it because we found stop leak in the back, and it looked like it had stop leak in the radiator, so really huge bummer, but it is what it is. These cars are notorious for popping head gaskets, so I'll make a video on how to do a head gasket change. There's probably already a couple ones that Robert Walker probably put out. I'm just going to honestly be referring to the Petros method and the Tercel 4-wheel drive form, but I'll do it for you guys if you're interested. Beyond that, it's probably going to wrap it up for me for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. I'll have part numbers and information on the bulbs and stuff that I use in the description, so if you got any questions, feel free to drop a note in the word spot. I'll gladly help you out. And beyond that, I'm going to wrap it up. Take a shower, go to bed. You guys have a great day. I appreciate you watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Adios.